Do you find that you're addicted to synth presets? Or maybe there's certain parts of your synthesizer that you just never work with because they seem too strange or you're just not very familiar with that synthesizer. Try this method, which is using presets to help you both expand your understanding of the synth and to create something that is really authentically yours. Let's check it out. Hi guys, I'm DJ Chimney Sparrow, and today we're going to look at a little strategy for how to start with a preset and then move on to something that's more truly yours. But maybe not in the way that people usually do, where you like find a preset and they tweak it to their own specifications. Now, I wanted to say I was going to use my headphones to, get the top quality sound for me, but then this happened. So yeah, I'm working with these super high quality Apple earbuds here. Yep. And we'll just work with what we have, yeah? So here's the sort of alternative strategy that I suggest. You'll still start with a preset. Find one that you like that's close to the sound that you want, obviously. But then instead of tweaking that preset, which could lead you to just avoiding those same controls that you tend to stay away from, start a new track with an initialized version of that synth and build that preset from scratch. Now, I know that will take a little bit longer, right? But there's two benefits to this. One, you're going to learn how to use different tools in that synth, and you'll see how they kind of work towards creating that sound that you like so much. And the second thing is that as you go along, you'll start noticing, well, this is what that patch I like is telling me to do, but actually I think it's even closer to what I want if I just push that drive a little further or use a different filter or whatever. So you can end up with something that actually sounds quite different from that initial preset because you have made your own personal adjustments at every stage of the process. So that's the too long didn't read version. Let's take a look now at actually doing that in a DAW. So I've got Ableton loaded up here. And I've been working on this sort of horror track, right? So it's got some creepy ambience going on here. You get the idea. There's a point here where I'd like to have this sort of ethereal swell happen. And right now I've just got a synth wave, just like an initialized track ready to go here. So this is the note that I want to work with. Sexy, right? Okay, let's see if we can make that a little less annoying. And we're gonna find a preset that we like here. Okay, so I'm using Massive X for this. I should mention, by the way, that I'm pretty new to Massive X, so this is kind of a good example for how we can use this strategy for synthesizers that we're maybe a little less familiar with. If you are more familiar with it, that's great. You'll be able to sort of reproduce the patch or make it your own that much more quickly. Let's take a look and see if we can find some patches that we like. That's kind of cool. What about soundscapes? That's kind of cool. Let's see, that one versus... You know what, there's certain parts of this I really like. I think I'm gonna stick with this one. Okay, so now let's duplicate this track. And with this new version, we're gonna initialize it. First of all, I know that I want this to sort of fade in and out. So let's increase the attack a bit. And the release. Starting from the left here, let's see. So they've picked sort of this monster bump SQ. Okay, so let's take a look at that. Let's drop that down a bit. We're gonna change this one also to that. Let's bring this So these are both standard. Interesting, so they've dropped these down. Oh, right, so this one's an octave lower. Okay, already way less annoying. Let's open up the filter a little more. They've messed with the ratios in this side. I don't like to be too exact about these controls, even if I am getting pretty close to what the preset's doing. You know, a little bit of messiness can still just make it a little bit different for you. They've got some pulse modulation going on, and it looks like, okay, so they're sticking with the triangle wave. Let's just turn off this one for a second. What does it sound like when the original does that? I really like the idea of that kind of expanding and swelling. It looks like on the preset here, okay, they've got this cool wave shape going on. Fairly slow rate. Let's do something similar, but I'd like to do it for this first, or rather the second pulse modulation. Increase it, let's make this unidirectional. Let's make it big initially. Oh yeah, we gotta slow this down. I choose the one that they are using. Yeah, okay, that's way better. What if I try one of these other waveforms? All right, that's kind of cool. Let's just quickly check a few other sounds on this side to see if we can make things a little more interesting. Okay, some lower harmonics getting in there, or higher harmonics, whatever. All right, what if we bent that a little bit? See, this is the way it works, right? Like I find I'll start doing something and then I'll be like, oh, actually, you know, like let's make this happen now. So it's really just providing some structure. Like starting with this preset, you get some ideas and then you can kind of roll with that. Okay. Yeah, let's try it. Let's see what that sounds like. All right, we got a little more movement going on. Let's slow it down a little more. All right, cool. Let's bring in the next one. So we've got this other guy now. All right, we want both of these activated. Okay, and we're gonna drop the filter down a bit. Let's just turn off the other one. All right, so we've got the filter down a little. Let's bring it down a bit more. It looks like they're modulating the pitch randomly on this one. Let's see what that sounds like. Oh, that's quick. Okay, let's try that unidirectional. This is all good, but I really want to have it be a little more dark. Like ethereal, but not like sharp. Okay, I don't mind that. Let's try adjusting the ratio here a bit. How about we go for putting L5 for the filter instead, and then maybe a little bit of L4 for the ratio. All right, I'm just lowering the filter on this first one because I don't like how buzzy it is. I'm pretty happy with that as like a starting point. Let's just quickly check here. I'm really curious about what they've done with the ratio here. This is one of these things, I'm not 100% sure what this actually does, perfectly honest. I think I'll leave it at 1 for now, but maybe I'll adjust that once some other effects have been added on over here. And this is the thing, right? It's like sometimes you're going to add on things like reverb, delay, distortion and stuff, and then you're gonna wanna go back to like your earlier controls and be like, well, how is adjusting these earlier things gonna change what I've done to the sound later? And you can accidentally come up with a lot of cool stuff that way. Okay, so we're moving into the noise section now. I see they've got two things here, stutter and factory. Let's just get rid of these. Wow, oscillators so I can hear the noise. Yeah, that is great. I don't know if I want to use anything else for those because that's just awesome. So let's put stutter in there. What does that sound like when we get rid of these guys? I like how there is some adjustment in the pitch there. Let's give that a little bit of room to move. Sounds like a really busted up race car. Let's move on to the next one. Oh, this is the good one. All right, so we got an adjustment. They're both sort of moved around a bit there. Okay, so let's attach the random LFO. Let's turn them both on. So we've got the L4, drop it in, and we're gonna max that out there. Let's bring it right up. Something like that. Let's drop the volume down a bit. Now if I add in the rest of it. Okay, I'm not decided, but we'll move on and we'll see how the sound changes. So looks like they stuck with this Asimov filter. Okay, so the frequency modulation feels like it's starting to tie things together a bit. So next we have this fold option. Let's see what that sounds like. Okay. Oh, I see they've got a few different options here. Yeah, a little distortion to tie it together. All right, so more randomness here. Let's mess with the drive a little bit. And for this guy, let's keep it free. Okay, let's reduce this a bit, but bring the drive up. Okay, on to the next thing. So we've got shift. One thing you can do if it gets a little bit confusing like this is you can just like double click on these, temporarily turn off all the movement, and then you just kind of rebuild it after you hear what it sounds like without, you know, all that extra stuff. So that's pretty cool. Let's see if I turn this off. Okay, yeah, that's pretty good. That's pretty cool as well. All right, so very cool kind of broad flanging effect. And then we got some classic distortion. Let's look at some of the other kinds here. Yeah, that one wins for me. I like this one enough so that I'm going to attach some movement onto that. So this would be oscillator 8. Okay, that's pretty groovy, right? Let's start bringing a movement into these other pieces again. I like that. Ooh, I like that little stutter going on there. Let's try that for a bit. Let's bring in the other one. Gonna add on a little bit more movement here. And now we got something pretty cool sounding. Let's get the noise back in there. Okay, so we're almost done at this point. Just got to get to this last section over here. We can add some panning here. That's always nice. This is really cool. I'm hoping that I can soften it up in this last section. All right, so first off, we've got some reverb. I really like it when we get that lower part. What if I drop this down? That's pretty good. Let's just see if we check a few different options here. Ooh. All right, so that is a solid option. Let's just check a few others. Get more of that deeper growl when we bring up the filter a bit here. So next we have EQ. Looks like they just boosted a little bit of the upper levels here and dropped a bit of the lows. I think I actually like it when it's a bit quieter up there. All right, and last but not least, we have some, looks like a phaser. All right, that needs some adjustment. What does this sound like in this plugin? Not a huge fan. We'll find something other than the phaser, I think. What's a dimension expander? I'm pretty happy with that. The one thing I'd like to adjust here is I just want to cut down on the high end a bit. So let's bring in an auto filter. Just like a gentle. It's not bad. Now for the envelope, we're gonna drop this down a bit. Just gonna raise the reverb a bit here so that it has a longer tail. That sounded more like it. Very cool. Okay, so we started off with a preset that sounded like this. But then we adjusted some things, made it our own, and now we have something that sounds like this. I might still do some tweaking with that, maybe see if I can, I don't know, add a little bit more movement in some places, but I made it sort of a little bit gentler, a little bit darker, which is kind of what I'm going for in this kind of hellscape track that I'm making. Anyway, I hope you can see the value of this. My name is DJ Chimney Sparrow, and if you like these videos, you're welcome to subscribe, ding the bell, and I also have a blog, www.djchimneysparrow.com. Sparrow. I write in a blog there fairly regularly about various music / philosophy related subjects. So if you find either of those things interesting, feel free to check that out. And you guys stay safe.